Hey, thanks for joining us. I'm Stacey Spivey. Lauren Coleman, she's back,
I am
y'all. And Eric Chilton, too.
Well, welcome to this wonderful Wednesday, whether you're watching at home, the WFMY News 2 app, Fire Stick, Roku. So many ways to watch us, but our big story today is the weather. Am I right?
Yeah, we're watching this closely just because we have a chance of probably some scattered showers or thunderstorms out there. And there's a chance, too, when we talk about that, it could be a little bit rough at times. You know, you look at this, and as we head into your overnight and into tomorrow, temperatures are really mild, right? We'll still see this around 63 degrees by 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. We build up, and really it's not a lot of change temperature-wise, upper 60s, maybe 70 if we're lucky. The issue here is that we'll have scattered showers overnight, but the chance of maybe a storm here or there does exist, especially in the afternoon. That is something that we're going to watch closely in the next 24 hours or so. And again, it's the type of thing where just stay tuned to us. Make sure you download our app so you can get that instant notification in case there's a warning in your area. Think about it like this. A scattered storm, yes, a possibility. Tornado risk is low. Severe weather, honestly, that risk is also low, but there is that possibility. So just know, I think winds might be the biggest issue. In a lot of cases, we're seeing those wind gusts forecasted up to 15 to 25 miles per hour. So that might cause a problem or two as we head into the next few days. Now, temperatures will change by the end of the weekend, but we've got some mild weather straight ahead. Coming up, we'll talk about our 7-day forecast and a big change by next week temperature-wise. Winter will arrive from a temperature standpoint next week. We'll have that coming up.
And just like Eric mentioned, you can stay weather alert by downloading our app. We'll send notifications of any weather problems in our area. Again, that is a free app. It's WFMY News 2, and you can get it from Google Play or the Apple Store.
The other big story we're tracking today, a surge in coronavirus cases. The state says it's learned of more than 9,300 new cases in the past 24 hours. It's easy to see how it compares to numbers over the past 2 months because today's number, the highest the state has ever reported. Just 6 days throughout the entire pandemic were higher than today's. Prior to today, the next highest number was just shy of 7,000 reported on Christmas Eve.
We first reported yesterday doctors across the nation are seeing a rise in pediatric COVID cases. Here in the Triad, Cone Health says while they are seeing numbers go up, it's not a huge spike. It's important to know as cases rise around the country, cases in children will also go up. Dr. Suresh Nagapan is the medical director for the children's unit at Moses Cone Hospital. He says throughout the pandemic, babies and older adolescents were the ones being hospitalized with COVID. Usually they were dealing with respiratory symptoms, but now they're seeing more of the 10 to 14 age group come in with breathing problems because of COVID.
The biggest things I want you to watch out for are, breathing hard. So if your child's breathing hard, meaning that they're sucking in, their chest is sucking in, they're really short of breath, can't finish the sentence, that's a sign that they're in trouble and you need to come in right away.
Now this applies for all age groups. Dr. Nagapan says the best way to protect your kid is getting the COVID vaccine if they're eligible and wearing masks.
For those young kids who can't get the vaccine yet, there's something we call cocooning, which is making sure everyone around them is protected, right? So if everyone around that, young baby or the young child is vaccinated, everyone around them is wearing a mask, that's going to go a long way in protecting them.
If your kid does have a mild case of COVID, Dr. Nagapan says it's just treat it like you would a cold. Lots of fluid and rest. Overall, he says this is not something parents need to be worried sick over. Let your kids see their friends and do their activities, but remain safe.
The Holiday Bowl is officially canceled. Organizers confirmed an opponent could not be found to play against NC State at Petco Park. UCLA announced yesterday their team had players under COVID protocols and withdrew from the game. The announcement was made around 12:30 yesterday, just hours ahead of the 5 o'clock kickoff. One parent of a Wolfpack player said he and his family were near the stadium with some of the UCLA parents when his son called.
This is not a COVID issue. As a parent, just all of us out here, to get that news 5 hours before the game, just really indicated to me something fell through. Something in the process somewhere fell through, and that was some of the first things to pop in my mind. What what could have happened 5 hours before the game that we didn't know 10 hours before the game, 24 hours before the game.
Yeah, it's wild. The Holiday Bowl is the 5th bowl game to be canceled or called off due to COVID-19 issues. The game was going to be the first football game ever played at Petco Park, which is home of the San Diego Padres.
As of right now, the Duke's Mayo Bowl is still scheduled. The UNC Tar Heels are set to kick off against the South Carolina Gamecocks tomorrow morning at 11:30 at Bank of America Stadium. The Tar Heels say they're practicing as if the game will go on and will deal with any problems if they arise.
I think we're focused on the goal at hand, even though everything around us is, getting canceled. A lot of bowl games get canceled, but I think we've done a great job with COVID over the past 2 years, not getting ourselves in trouble, not having a lot of people on the team testing positive. And I think we'll be ready to go tomorrow. I think everybody's focused on the game.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl started back in 2002, and once again, kickoff is tomorrow at 11:30. LabCorp is holding off on collecting COVID-19 home collection kits now through January 2nd. The company says they need to pause orders to meet customer expectations while holiday shipping deliveries are limited. LabCorp and NCDHHS have a partnership providing free at-home tests to residents with overnight shipping. Demand for at-home testing kits is high during the holiday season. If you need one, you can also get one delivered by ordering online through a pharmacy.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Due to a surge in COVID cases, the Greensboro Children's Museum canceled its New Year's Eve celebration. The museum made its decision with the health and safety of guests in mind. Officials say visiting the museum is still safe, but a large event encouraging group activities is not. The museum still requires visitors to wear masks if they're 3 and older, encouraging social distancing and hand washing. The museum will be open on New Year's Eve during normal hours. That's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and will be closed on New Year's Day. Ticket holders to the New Year's Eve event will be contacted directly by the museum for refund options. Gas prices may be falling right now, but Gas Buddy says that may not last long. Analysts predict the national average could jump as high as $4 per gallon by the springtime as the economy works to recover from the pandemic. Gas Buddy forecasts the yearly average will go up to $3.41 per gallon. Some good news, though. Analysts say prices will fall just before next holiday season. Parole has been denied for one of 2 men convicted of murdering Michael Jordan's father back in 1993. Larry Demery was scheduled to be paroled in 2024. It's not clear why that changed. He's serving a life sentence for the death of James Jordan, who was killed in his car as he napped. Demery will get another parole review in 2 years. Several Triad deputies are in Charlotte today honoring the life of a fallen Charlotte Mecklenburg police officer. The Forsyth County Sheriff and several deputies are attending the funeral for Officer Mia Goodwin. Officer Goodwin died when she and 3 other officers were hit by a truck a week ago on I-85. The driver, Daniel Morgan of High Point, was charged with involuntary manslaughter. Goodwin was a 6-year veteran and had just returned to duty days after being on maternity leave. Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department confirmed Goodwin is the first female officer on their force to be killed in the line of duty. We'll be right back.
can you talk to me? Oh, hi, yes.
More trouble for the Panthers. You hate to hear it. The Panthers place yet another player on the COVID reserve list this week.
It's the second time this week the team has added players to the list. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson has more on how the team is handling cases. Amanda.
The Panthers had more than a dozen players on the COVID-19 list as of Monday. They've taken 2 off since then and added 2 back on. Linebacker Hassan Reddick and quarterback PJ Walker. The Panthers had the day off yesterday, but we're back in the building today. Head coach Matt Rule tells us how the team is getting through the week.
We limited practice today. We didn't practice against each other. We had to practice offense and defense separately because we didn't have enough people. So it's certainly a concern right now. Scott and his staff are working all day to try to make sure that we have kind of every position covered. But yeah, it's definitely a concern. It's definitely a factor in the ball game right now. We have a lot of young guys that have been waiting for their chance to play. Some got a chance to play last week, and some more will get a chance to play this week.
The Panthers are preparing for a road trip to take on the Saints Sunday. Now, with the new COVID-19 protocol, players who tested positive Monday could be available in time for Sunday's game. But from my understanding, the players who were moved to the COVID-19 list today, they will not be available.
Interesting. I mean, it's never ending, right? Because it seems like every time you turn around, there's 2 more that are off and 2 more that are on. And but they are allowing them a chance. They have to test negative, I guess, after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and so from my understanding, what Matt Rule said today, they have 5 days to come back. So if you tested positive today, this counts as 0. So day number 1 starts tomorrow, so then they wouldn't make it for Sunday.
Just a weird time.
It's so overwhelming.
So many different changes. So what were to happen if they were in a situation where they ran out of people or something?
That's what we don't know.
Yeah, that's
never
happened,
So that's why they're trying to space out players and positions as they prepare for this game on Sunday, but you can only do what you can do.
Yeah. Do we have any idea of who these players are that have been put on the list?
Yeah, a lot of defensive players are on it right now. And then they just added backup quarterback PJ Walker and linebacker Hassan Reddick, so it's kind of on different positions.
And I know a couple of weeks ago we didn't have a kicker because somebody got hurt in pregame, and I think somebody was on COVID, and then we couldn't kick field goals. So it was so crazy.
I think.
But you know what? The Saints, we don't know what's going to happen with them either. They could add players to the list
That's
too.
true.
So
this is something
it's
that
just hard to
everyone's
prepare
dealing
because
with.
you just don't know who you're going to have on Sunday. You don't know who the other team's going to have on Sunday.
Everyone just kind of has to stay on their toes and just keep open mind, I guess.
Just roll along. That's right.
Roll with the punches.
Yep. We're going to roll along too, right into a break. We'll be right back. So unusual to be talking about these temperatures as we head into December, but I mean, you look at this 70 in Reidsville. Remember, our normal high is around 49 to 50 degrees this time of the year. So 66 Greensboro, 67 High Point, Winston-Salem at 68 along with Mount Airy. Now tonight, overnight lows not venturing far from where we are now at 60 degrees. Tomorrow we're heading up to 68. Here's the deal, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. We'll see more clouds build in overnight. Chance of a shower or storm really at any point, but I think tomorrow afternoon we'll be watching this a little bit closer. You know, is this a severe weather situation? Could be. Odds are it won't be, but we're still watching that. And it's the type of thing where we just want to keep you posted so you are aware, so that you can kind of keep an ear to the ground as we head into tomorrow. Keep that app handy. Our app is totally free and it can let you know exactly what's going on. Lots of instability back to our west. If we put this with the surface chart, you can see the low pressure just kind of drifts a little bit. We stay in this warm sector for a while, and the frontal boundaries are close enough to us that we watch for maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. It's when that second front moves by, and that will probably happen as we head into Sunday, that we could see another round of possible severe weather as well. Let's go with 60 degrees for the overnight low tonight. Hey, winds tomorrow, that's going to be something that we'll watch closely. Southwest 10 to 15, but gusting to 25, so it will be a good bit breezy out there. And when you look at the 7-day forecast, that's a 50% chance of those showers and an isolated storm tomorrow, 30% Friday. We get a little bit of a break, but then more rain again, 40% Saturday, 50% Sunday. Highs between 68 and 71 tomorrow through Saturday. Sunday 65. We'll watch for a thunderstorm that could be severe in nature that day. Big change next week though, 40s for highs for Monday, Tuesday, and lows around 28 to 30 degrees. So when you look at the month of December here, I have this graphic for you. Doesn't shock you to hear that it's been unusually warm. Everybody can feel this. In fact, 22 of the first 28 days were above normal. So it begs the question for us, will these warm temperatures affect our crops and plants? I went straight to the source and spoke with North Carolina State Extension Agent Ben Granson to get some answers. Hi, Ben. Thanks for being with us today. So, you know, as a meteorologist, I'm watching this, and December has been a little on the warm side, and it made me think from an agricultural standpoint, what's going on here? What will we see as a result of this?
Typically, North Carolina has very warm winters. We get snaps of cold weather, but it's not very atypical for us to be seeing 65, 70 degree temperatures around the holidays.
So when that happens, and you and I were chatting the other day about this, how will it affect crops very much at all, or even ornamental plants? I mean, what will we notice with this?
So a lot of our plants that do truly go dormant in the winter have a secret little cycle that they measure the amount of chilling hours between 32 degrees and 46 degrees to sort of estimate how long winter has been and when spring is coming. Plants for this area are very used to the winters that we have, and so they have a natural ability to sort of cycle through that. If we have a truly warm winter, then a lot of those plants delay waking up in the spring, making it so that they do have a little bit of a longer wake up time.
So what would happen, say, if we go through this warm snap and then all of a sudden we go through an extreme cold snap? Surely there's damage there.
A lot of plants that might not be used to this area could accidentally wake up a little bit too early. In that case, if we did get a late frost, which we typically do get a late frost around that first week of April, they could get burned back a little bit. Hopefully that won't be too severe, and hopefully they'll be able to recover from that. But that could detriment a few of our crops like blueberries or apples or peaches if that frost was too damaging to those trees.
Excellent information, Ben. Thanks for taking time out with us today. So it was fascinating to me to know that kind of, nature takes care of these plants automatically. So over, hundreds and literally thousands of years, these plants have kind of gotten this almost built-in timer where once it's seen the freezing mark or up to maybe the mid-40s, that range for a certain amount of time, they know that it's time to go ahead and blossom again. So he said usually it doesn't cause a problem. If we were to have extreme heat for a long period of time and then extreme cold, then you'd have some problems.
So it's probably refreshing to a lot of farmers out there that this isn't something they should be too concerned about right now, because it sounds like they just kind of adjust to the situation, the crops. Yeah, we need to basically see how January is going to be. January is statistically the coldest
month of the year for us, and it's not out of the ordinary for us to get 40s and 20s for most of January for highs and lows, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of people that are on our Facebook feed right now are asking about tonight's weather, a little concerned about it. Should we be concerned?
Well, in the overnight hours tonight and then again tomorrow afternoon, it's a small risk though. We're in this marginal risk. It's not anything major, but it's the type of thing where we feel like we need to tell you so that you're aware and keep that. If you have a weather alert radio, I would keep it handy just in case. The odds are against it happening, but there is a chance.
And always you can download our WFMY News 2 app to stay up to date on the weather as well.
That's right. We'll be right back.
So I love this story. Imagine getting the same Christmas gift every other year. Two New Hampshire brothers have made it their tradition to re-gift the same hard candy to each other. Isn't that crazy?
It's so funny. Okay, just listen to this. Ryan and Eric have been doing this for 30 years now. It started as a joke when Ryan gave a 10-roll Frankfurt Santa's candy book with different fruit flavors to his brother because he knew that Eric wouldn't like it. Eric said the following year he figured he could give it back to Ryan, and he never remembered giving the gift to Eric originally.
Now, the brothers get creative with how they re-gift the candy. It's been frozen in a block of ice, put in some Jell-O, and even sewn into a teddy bear. Very interesting. So last year, a server at a restaurant even presented the candy to Ryan on a silver platter during a meal. I think this is great. I think it just goes to show, like, you don't have to get some over-the-top gift. You can still have a lot of fun and a little competition with it.
Oh my gosh.
You know what's bad is that I'll bet the hard candy is still good. You can probably still eat it because that stuff stays fresh forever.
I think the best one though was when the waitress brought it
Yes.
out. Like that took a lot of planning, and was obviously well worth it too.
Do you guys have anything for Christmas with your families like that? Just a running joke?
No, I don't have any running jokes, but I feel like that is actually a pretty good idea. Not necessarily with that candy, but to start something like playful like that, I think is cool.
I mean, my mom got us all these shirts, matching shirts, but the girl says nice and the guy says naughty.
Oh, okay.
That's like the closest thing. And it's kind of lame.
Usually true.
I feel like you would be good at this, Eric, like pulling pranks and stuff.
We do, we don't do it for Christmas, but for Halloween, my wife has, it's almost like a Halloween looking elf on the shelf, and we hide it from each other. So it pops up like when I open a drawer to get out socks or something, he's sitting in there holding socks. And she'll hide it from me and I hide it from her. We take turns with that through the month of October. But we need to do something for this for Christmas.
Yeah. This is cool. Maybe we could do it.
Yeah, maybe we could do something like that. Regift every year. Something to think about.
Yeah, I love it. Well, this family tradition shows the love between the two brothers. In today's U Day segment, Coach Lamont reminds us it's our job to keep love alive.
There was an island where all the emotions lived. One day a storm was bearing down on this island. Every emotion was fearful, but the wisdom and unselfishness of love made a boat for all the other emotions. All the emotions jumped on the board except for one. Love took inventory on which emotion wasn't on the boat. Love discovered it was hate. Love tried its best to bring hate onto the boat, but hate wouldn't budge. All the other emotions begged love to leave hate behind, but love is love and couldn't. Love remained with hate. All other emotions survived, but love died because of hate. This is the perfect picture of what exists in our world today. We make love harder than it has to be. It is not always easy to love, but love is love, and it's our responsibility to keep it alive. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. Hi. Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Well, good afternoon and welcome back. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Stacy Spivey and Eric Chilton.
Yeah, thanks guys for watching the 4 to 5 right here on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app for your TV, phone, or tablet. We do want to get started with weather, Eric, because a lot of people are talking about it on our Facebook stream right now, wanting to know about possible storms coming to our area.
Yeah, storms, and the time period here that we're talking about is in the overnight hours, and then again tomorrow afternoon. Two different kind of pieces to the puzzle, if you will, as all of this kind of settles and figures out what it's going to do. You look at the time period, we'll see some scattered showers. We're seeing a little bit of that now, most of it just kind of drizzle, but a heavier shower in the overnight period. And I think once we get to midnight, we'll have to watch things as you head into the overnight period. Now, this is something to remember. When it's the overnight and most of us are sleeping, what do? That's when those weather radios come in handy, because they'll alert you and set off somewhat of a little alarm to help you out. So it's important to have that, or to at least, check your app, keep the phone right by the bed just in case, so you'll know what's going on. Are the odds with us that this is definitely going to happen? No, not right now, but there is still that chance. And even though it's fairly slim, we've got a 50% chance of showers and storms, but a smaller chance of those being severe. It is still something we need to watch. You can see we're going to be unsettled for a while, right? Because all this still has yet to move through, and it may take it a few days to do so. So the risk of this is really twofold. It's one, overnight tonight, and then tomorrow afternoon when we start to heat up a little bit, but it's also at the end of the weekend on Sunday when this next cold front will move through, kind of clear all of this out. But we have several days to get there, don't we? Until then, very mild, upper 60s, low 70s, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There's that 50% chance tomorrow, 30% Friday, and a 40 to 50% this weekend. Next week, clear and cool, 45, 48 for Monday, Tuesday, and all sunshine.
Know the weather wherever you go. Download our free WFMY News 2 app and we'll send you push alerts right to your phone to help keep you weather aware. While our weather team is tracking rain, teams out west are dealing with snow and ice. The Pacific Northwest and Sierra Nevada are seeing snow, ice, and unseasonably cold weather. Washington and Oregon have opened emergency spaces for people as an Arctic blast chills the air. It's expected to last until Sunday. Check out this video of a truck skidding on black ice in Oregon. We'll have to take a closer look there. The ice in Oregon, and officials say the truck was not speeding and there wasn't heavy traffic. It's not all bad though. Some zoo animals in Illinois are enjoying the first snow of the season.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. A Lexington firefighter is recovering after getting injured while fighting a house fire. The fire started early yesterday morning on South Main Street. Crews saw heavy smoke when they arrived on scene and began searching for a person possibly inside the home. It was later determined the home was vacant and was sometimes used by homeless people in the community. The floor of the home started to give out, and the commander ordered crews to fight the fire from outside the house. It's unclear how the firefighter was injured during the incident or what started the fire. If you're driving through High Point and drive by a hotel on fire, don't be alarmed. The fire department has scheduled a live burn training at the American Suites Hotel building for today. Now, you're taking a live look right now at the training happening. The building was donated to the fire department and police department. This training is historic for the department as they train alongside Greensboro, Winston, and Kernersville fire departments. A Greensboro police officer has earned this year's Medical Life-Saving Award. Greensboro police say Officer R.T. Brooks noticed a person who had overdosed on opioids. After realizing the person was not responsive, he gave them Narcan and saved their life. Congratulations, Officer Brooks, and thank you for your service.
Novant Health is expanding its COVID testing hours as more people get tested for the virus. The Haynes Mall location will now operate 5 days a week starting January 3rd. You can schedule an appointment to get a test. Test times will be offered Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. The testing site will also be open on New Year's Eve. That time is from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Remember, you should not go to an emergency room to get a COVID test. To sign up for your COVID test appointment, visit NovantHealth.org/COVID test. Emergency rooms and services are still overwhelmed between the busy holiday season and COVID. Staffing issues have impacted EMS crews this year too. Guilford County Emergency Services has 26 open positions, and Forsyth County Emergency Services is hiring more than 20 positions. Chief Darren Ziegler with Forsyth County says the most helpful thing residents can do right now is make sure they know the right time to call 911.
One of the bigger points that I need to get across to people is good and proper 911 use. Okay, 911 is for emergencies. Okay, if you have significant trauma, if you're having chest pain, if you're having signs of a stroke, if you're having difficulty breathing. You know, too often we run calls because somebody tested positive for COVID. If you tested positive for COVID, that does not mean you need an ambulance. It does not mean you need to go to a hospital. It may not even mean that you need to go to your doctor.
EMS crews say one of their big concerns is keeping staff healthy and safe to continue serving the community.
An Australian teenager accused of partying after testing positive for COVID-19 has been charged with ignoring local orders. Police say the 19-year-old went to a nightclub and did not quarantine after getting the news from health officials. The teen was charged for disobeying a 2004 law which is activated during major emergencies. Health officials placed the nightclub on its COVID exposure site list and performed contact tracing for customers and staff. The teen now faces a maximum penalty of $20,000 in fines or 2 years in prison.
Australia doesn't play around anyway, right? We know
don't.
that. They lock it all down. I mean, that was super irresponsible of that, especially after he or she knew that they had COVID to go in there. Nightclubs aren't known for having a lot of open spaces. You know, it's probably one series of rooms and there's nowhere to go for that ventilation. So that was irresponsible.
Yeah, it was really reckless, and I don't think that the consequences are too severe. If you think about it, if somebody drinks and drives or drives over the speed limit, they know there's a chance that they could kill somebody or they can get hurt. And with this virus, you know that you can spread it and maybe possibly put somebody's life in danger. So, I mean, he broke the rules, so they should face the consequences.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lauren. I mean, even though if you have COVID and your symptoms are not bad, they're just mild, or maybe it's just like a cold, that doesn't mean that that's not going to be the case for someone else, someone older than you. And maybe there were a lot of young people in that nightclub, but those young people could go home and expose maybe a grandparent or a baby or anybody that's really at risk. So that's what you have to think about, the chain reaction that comes from your reaction.
Absolutely, something that we have to keep at top of mind at all times. And Greece is also tightening its COVID restrictions to contain the virus. The nation banned music at all commercial venues on New Year's Eve. A mask mandate is in place at grocery stores and on public transit. Government employees are under work from home orders, and capacity limits are also in place at sports venues. More than 28,000 new cases were reported in the country today. The country is home to 11 million people and is recording dozens of daily deaths, with 72 new deaths announced today. The restrictions start tomorrow.
Play wraps up today in the 45th annual HeyCoIsHiring.com Invitational with a pair of championships on the line inside the Greensboro Coliseum Special Events Center. 6th-seeded Southeast Guilford and 5th seed Page will tip off in the women's championship game tonight at 5. The Falcons are looking to claim their first tournament championship, while the Pirates are looking to extend their women's record of title wins to 14. It's a 1-2 matchup in the men's title game. 2nd seed Grimsley will take on top seed and defending champ Greensboro Day. The Whirlies are hoping to get their first title since 2009. The Bengals have won a record 17 championships. This one gets underway at 7 p.m. We'll have all the highlights and post-game reaction from both championship games tonight on WFMY News 2 at 11.
All right, so here I am bringing up the weekly meal plan, all right? So on Monday, spaghetti. Tuesday, chicken tacos. Wednesday, we're having leftovers, friends. Thursday is eat out night. Friday is order pizza night. Saturday's chili, Sunday's sandwiches. 2 out of the 7 days on my weekly planner right here are no cooking nights. So I ask you, how does your week usually go between cooking and eating out?
I strive for that. I strive to only eat out about 2 times a week or less. I think it saves money and you just make healthier options that way.
Right, but normally is it half and half?
It's usually about 2 days out of the week I'll probably buy.
Okay. Ours is probably 1 day a week, because since there's so many of us, if we ate out every week, I'd be broke.
Right.
So, yeah, so we try to eat out about once a week. We definitely do pizza one night a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do the same. We usually, if we're going to go out to eat, it would be on a Friday or Saturday night. But typically, My husband cooks.
Yay for that. Okay, so I wanted to know, do you make a meal plan, like, you know, at the beginning of the week, or is it kind of like every night you kind of play it by ear and see what you feel like eating?
My wife does all that, so she plans every meal meticulously for the
Well,
whole
and
week.
you kind of have to if you're going to have, sometimes in your case, a family of 4 or family of 6.
Yes, family
Right.
of 6, you have to plan. Right?
You have to plan.
Yeah, we actually plan out on Sundays what our meal is going to be for every day of the week. Now, if the week is kind of crazy or whatever, it will change. But yeah, we try to plan.
Same thing with you?
Same thing. I usually try to meal prep on Sundays, like for my lunch and my dinners, but it's a little easier when it's just for a party of one.
Sure.
So I can kind of wing it every now and then.
Right, okay. So cooking at home certainly saves money, right? It can save calories, but sometimes our equipment is not up for the job. So 2 Wants to Know turned to Consumer Reports for help. First, knives. A good chef's knife can make chopping and slicing for food prep a whole lot easier and safer. Consumer Reports evaluated 8-inch chef knives from 8 companies. Each were tested for how they cut. But get this, more importantly, is how the knife fits in your hand.
So a knife with a well-designed handle allows the user to do more work, become less tired in the course of doing that work, and decreases the likelihood of accidents.
I'm showing you the top 2 picks under $50. For $40, the Hinkle's Premio 8-inch chef's knife seems to fit every hand. The contoured handle is a comfortable grip. The weight of the blade feels just right, not too heavy, not too light. The best budget pick is this KitchenAid Classic Forged 8-inch triple rivet chef knife. It's $20, and although it's not made of carbon steel, the blade cuts easily. All right, let's go to your pots and your pans. Do you need all of these?
There are a couple of pans that you can cook almost anything in because of the material they're made of. So if you can only own one, consider one of these.
The Dutch oven is an enameled cast iron pot. You can do everything from searing a steak to slow cooking a stew, even make bread in it in the oven. The cast iron skillet goes from stovetop to oven as well and is a Consumer Report favorite. But the as seen on TV always pan isn't really for always. You can't use metal utensils with it, and it can't go in the oven.
Okay, here's an interesting stat for you. Did you know there were only 5 days thus far in December that were cooler than normal? Most days well above normal. In fact, so far we think this may be the third warmest December in Triad history and possibly moving into second place. We'll have to wait and see for the next few days. Well, if you're like me, it makes you wonder, now are we in for a bug-infested summer, or does it matter? I asked NC State Extension Agent Ben Granson for some answers. So Ben, I was thinking about this warm weather period that we're going through, and the first thing I think about is, are we going to have issues with bugs more so than normal, for spring and summer? So explain that cycle a little bit.
So during the winter time, typically a lot of our insects are dormant. They're staying in their egg phases, they're underground, they're in protected areas. When they sense spring coming, they will wake up, they'll come out of the ground, and they'll start their normal cycle. If it's too early and we do get a late frost, a lot of those populations can wake up prematurely and then get popped back due to that late frost. So it could reduce overall insect populations for next year by a small amount.
Is it too early for us to tell kind of the impact because we still have January to go through, obviously the coldest month of the year?
It is very early. We still do have 3 months of winter left, so it is going to really depend on how cold it gets throughout January and February. If we get any major snowfalls, that's definitely going to knock back the insect population, or at least keep it in check till it wakes up in the spring.
That's interesting because that's one of the things people, especially when they relocate to the south, they're always amazed at the numbers of bugs. So we want a late frost in order to kind of help that, right? That's what we would hope for if you don't like that.
Exactly. Once that late frost comes, that'll knock back a lot of the bugs, just like the first frost in the fall time knocks back a lot of the bugs.
All right, perfect. I'm not a bug fan, so I'm hoping for a late frost. Thanks, Ben. So just to recap, I thought it would be just the opposite. So warm weather in winter, surely that means more bugs and they're coming out earlier and all that. He said that is somewhat true. Some of the larvae will grow and hatch and all that. But he said that traditionally, since January is the coldest month of the year and we get hard freezes frequently in January, he said what it will do is the opposite. So all these bugs may come out early, but then they don't make it because of the cold, and it actually reduces the number of bugs that are possible for summer. But let's be honest, there are plenty of bugs.
Yeah,
right?
You can't,
He said it'll help it a little bit.
Okay.
Ugh. Sorry, that's why we were laughing whenever it came back out to us, because me and Lauren were both just like, ugh, the mosquitoes.
And you were talking about the Arkansas mosquitoes.
They are, like you said, a different breed. I'm not kidding, y'all.
They are.
They're much larger than they are here, and they're everywhere. And if you step outside in the summer, you will get eaten alive, literally.
She's telling the truth. So I used to live in Memphis for several years. You just cross over the bridge to like West Memphis, Arkansas. It's a different game. Like I have no mosquito bites, and then I cross over the bridge and I come back looking like
and
a
it's
basketball.
just like bumps.
Like it's
I always say, if they're big enough to carry you away, I don't want to live there. That's what you have to do.
Bad.
All right, we're taking a break. We'll be right back. You know, it is a no-brainer to say that the past nearly 2 years have just been crazy. So I asked you on Facebook, what have you learned from COVID? What did you take away from all this? Here's what you had to say. Jeff said, unfortunately, I've lost friends to COVID because some of misinformation out there. Life is fragile. You don't have to live in fear. Listen to those, quote, in the know. Sybil says, to love family members just a little harder. I lost my husband to COVID. Mike Murray said, fear motivates people. Teresa said she learned that, hey, I kind of like and enjoy isolation. How about that? Patrick says some people can never be convinced to do what's best. Bobby said tomorrow is not promised. Be kind and respect others. Lots of lessons over the past 2 years, that's for sure. I think for a lot of us, we learned that, you know, kind of like, as they said, life is short and, you know, live it while you can and just take advantage of all of it. I think if anything has taught us to love our families probably even more than we did before.
Love our families, and it's okay if plans don't go the way that we thought that they were going to or wanted them to. I think COVID has shown that it's going to be okay, that we can readjust and we can get to the other side. So if you had a plan, it's okay if it goes out the window. You know, you'll have a new solution. So.
Yeah, I think for me, it's taught me a lot about family and how much of an importance that family is in my life. Because at one point, you know, we couldn't travel and I couldn't see my parents or my grandmother or my brother and sister-in-law. Like there was a long period of time I couldn't see them, and it was really, really hard. And then like we lost Jake's grandfather to COVID. So it just showed me like how important it is to spend time with family and to make sure you make the time to see them.
You know, I also think it's like a societal reset. I think all of a sudden we're forced to be more introspective and be thankful for things we have, because when the world just shut down like that, you have nowhere else to look but to your own family and inside your own heart. I think a lot of people, it helped them become who they are now. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we learned a lot of patience
We
too.
did.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you learned in the Facebook stream. We'll be right back.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hey.
I gave Lauren mine, so.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Hey, headed in there right now. Let me take my mic off so you can really hear me.
I'm the bottom half, Becky. Oh, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Rags.
Is it me? Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check.
Can't be much worse. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm borrowing Jenna's IFBM. I give it to her after I'm done. Well, yeah, I
Hey there, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware.
It's time for my 2 cents. 2 days before Thanksgiving, my family suffered a major loss. My grandparents lost their home and all of their belongings to a fire. It's the home my mother grew up in, the home I would visit every summer as a kid, the home my grandfather designed and helped build from the ground up more than 60 years ago, the home that my uncles, aunts, and cousins would gather for major holiday celebrations. A lot of memories were made in that home. At first, I was hesitant to share such a personal story because it's not just my story. It impacts my loved ones and those closest to me. But what I've witnessed over the past month has been incredible. Watching my family members, those close by and those states away, come together and share different resources to make sure my grandparents have everything they need. My grandparents have given so much to us. They've helped send some of us to college, they've helped raise children, and they always keep us in prayer. Even through this loss, they continue to be a guiding light. Instead of focusing on what is no longer here, my 90-year-old grandfather and 86-year-old grandmother are focused on rebuilding and creating a new space where the family can continue to gather for years to come. Loss is never an easy thing. It's painful and hectic, but it has a way of bringing people together, and that is a beautiful thing. This holiday season, make it a priority to connect and bond with the ones you love, because family is a gift that lasts forever. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Almost 70 degrees in December might feel good, but it can come with the risk of severe thunderstorms.
Today, we're facing the possibilities for high winds and even chances for a tornado.
Let's get right to Monique Robinson for a timeline of what to expect tonight.
Well, that's certainly correct, Bryn. When you have this warm, humid weather, it really is